Hello children, good morning. I am here to explain you chapter 10, reaching the age of adolescence. Before I start this topic children, I will tell you some important terms which are really helpful to understand this topic. So the first term is adolescence. What is adolescence? The period of life when the body undergoes several changes leading to reproductive maturity is called adolescence. As we know that human beings reproduce by giving birth to babies. Babies grow and become children. Children grow further and become adolescents, and finally adolescents grow and become adults. It is only after growing up to a certain age that humans are able to reproduce. The human beings can reproduce or giving birth to babies only after a certain age because their reproductive system start working only after a certain age. So my dear children, we will learn about the changes which takes place in a human male body and a female body, after which a person becomes capable of reproduction. In other words, we will learn about the changes which take place in a boy's body or in a girl's body, after which they become capable of reproduction. We will also discuss about role played by hormones in initiating the working of a male, that is boys, and a female, that is girls' reproductive systems, and make them fit for the process of reproduction. So children, it is the hormones which bring about changes that make a child grow into an adult. As we know, growing up is a natural process. Growth begins from the day a baby is born. A baby grows and becomes a child, a young human being below the age of full physical development is called a child. When a child crosses the age of 10 years or 11 years, there is a sudden spurt in his or her body growth which becomes noticeable. The rapid changes which takes place in the body from this age onwards are the part of growing up. These changes indicate that the person is no longer a child, whether he or she is on the way to becoming an adult. A mature human being who is fully grown and developed is called an adult. So, my dear children, what is adolescence? The transitional period of physical and mental development which occurs between childhood and adulthood is called what? Adolescence. Another important term which is called teens. It is the period which lasts from the age of 13 to 19 years. Another important term, voice box. It is also called larynx. It is a box in the throat which begins to grow at puberty. Puberty, the period during which adolescent boys and girls reach sexual maturity and become capable of reproduction, is called puberty. Puberty tends to start earlier in girls than in boys. Generally, girls attain puberty at a lower age of 10 to 13 years, while boys reach puberty at a comparatively higher age of 12 to 14 years. At puberty, Many changes occurs in bodies of boys and girls. Puberty is marked by the development of secondary sexual characteristics in boys and girls, such as growth of facial hair and deeper voice in boys, and the development of breasts and start of menstruation in girls. The most significant sign of puberty in girls is the beginning of menstruation or monthly periods. So the various changes which occurs in boys during puberty are as follows. Number 1, hair grow on the face of boys in the form of mustache and beard and on chest. Number 2, voice becomes, deepens and low pitched voice. Number 3, testes start to make sperms. Testes and penis become larger. Number 5, chest and shoulders of boys broaden, that is, they become wider. Body becomes muscular, means due to the development of muscles. Hair grow in armpit and in the pubic regions between the thighs. Number, rapid increase in height occurs. Feelings and the sexual drives associated with adulthood begin to develop. Now, the changes which occur in girls during puberty are: Number 1, breasts develop and enlarge in girls. Ovaries start to release eggs or ova. Menstruation, that is, monthly period begin. Ovaries, oviduct, uterus and vagina enlarge. Hips of girls broaden or become wider due to extra deposition of fat. Hair grow in armpits and in pubic regions. Rapid increase in height occurs. Feeling and sexual drives associated with adulthood begin to develop. As we know, puberty marks the beginning of the reproductive period, when one becomes capable of reproduction. Now we will discuss some of the changes which takes place in adolescent boys and girls at puberty in detail. Number 1, increase in height. The most clearly visible change during puberty is the sudden increase in the height of boys and girls. At the time of puberty, the long bones, that is, the bones of arms and legs, elongate or lengthen and make a person tall. Thus, children gain a lot of height during puberty. Initially, girls grow faster than boys, but by about 18 years of age, both boys and girls reach their maximum height. Generally, the maximum height of girls is slightly less than that of boys. The rate of growth in height varies in different persons' children. Some boys and girls may grow suddenly at puberty and then slow down, while others may grow gradually. All the parts of body do not grow at the same rate. Sometimes the arms and legs or hands and feet of adolescent boys and girls look oversized and out of proportion with the body, but soon the other parts catch up with them in growth. This results in a more proportionate body. We can see from the graph shown here that initially the height of girls increases at a faster rate than that of boys, but by about 18 years of age, both boys and girls reach their maximum height. When a child is small, sometimes it is difficult to tell from appearance whether it is a boy or a girl. This is because small boys and girls have the same body shape. So, it is actually the type of clothes worn by a small child which help us to telling whether it is a boy or a girl. So, when puberty sets in, a time of rapid changes in body shape and appearance, starts in boys and girls, which make the boys and girls look different from one another. Actually, testes in boys and ovaries in girls make different hormones which make the bodies of boys and girls to develop in different way. So, the changes in body shape and appearance in boys and girls brought about by the onset of puberty are those which I have already discussed. When we talking, our voice or sound is produced by the voice box. The voice box is in our throat. Voice box is also called larynx. At puberty, the voice box or larynx begins to grow in boys as well as in girls. The growth of voice box in boys is much more than the growth of voice box in girls. Due to this, the voice box in boys becomes much bigger than the voice box in girls. This means that the grown up boys have a bigger voice box in their throat, whereas grown up girls have a smaller voice box in their throat. The bigger voice box in boys gives a deeper voice or low pitched voice to the boys. Thus, the voice of boys changes at puberty and becomes deeper because their voice boxes enlarge too much and become bigger in size. The bigger or larger voice box in a grown up boy can be seen as a bulge or projection in front of the throat or neck in grown up boys is called Adam's apple. In girls, the voice box or larynx is comparatively small in size, due to which it is hardly visible from outside. So, girls do not develop Adam's apple at puberty. The smaller voice box in girls gives shrill voice, or we can say high pitched voice to the girls. Before we go further, we should know the meaning of the terms such as pimples, acne, sebaceous glands, and sweat glands. Pimples are a small red spot on the face of a person. Acne is a skin condition marked by the eruption of numerous red pimples on the face. Sebaceous glands are the small glands in the skin which secrete an oil which is called sebum through skin pores to lubricate and protect the surface of skin. Sebaceous glands are commonly known as oil glands. Sweat glands are the tiny glands in the skin which secrete sweat, or Hindi we call it pasina. In the last, I would like to tell you what do you mean by secondary sexual characteristic. The sexual characteristics controlled by hormones which distinguish between sexually mature males and females but are not directly involved in reproduction are called secondary sexual characters. For example, in boys, secondary sexual characters are facial hair like mustache and beard, and similarly, the development of breasts in girls is a secondary sexual characteristics which help to distinguish a girl from a boy. That's all for today's video. Thank you and have a nice day.